this past few months after my operation, I have definitely been struggling with the dreaded creative block. I have been putting off creating work, and then when I have been creating work, I've been spending a very long time on one piece, and then I've not wanted to share it anywhere. I've not wanted to post it online, I've not wanted to use it, and sometimes I've actually been leaving a piece before I finished it. And this is all just personal work. And I've just been struggling to create work for myself and for my portfolio out of the fear that it's not good enough, or I've been comparing myself to other people, primarily like Instagram, people I know, everyone. And I've also been comparing myself to my past self. Like, I've been creating work and I'm like, it's not as good as my old work, and whether it is or whether it isn't, my mind has been telling me it isn't. So I have been spending the last few weeks really focusing on getting my, like, I don't know what you'd call it, creative flair back, I guess. And I've come up with these 5 tips which have really helped me. And I mean, last night I was literally sitting there and I had so many, I've started coming up with a lot of ideas again, and I've actually started to get excited about work again. And I've got a new camera too, so I'll be doing more videos and everything. But basically I'm in a much better place, and I thought I would do a video on my 5 tips for beating a creative block. Let's go. Let me get my list. Because my head is all over the place at the moment. Number 1, I think, is, help me. Well, in fact, number 1 isn't really a tip, but it's something you have to do before you can do anything else. So number 1 is definitely realizing why. So you have to, in order to actually help yourself and to get out of that mindset, you need to realize why you're feeling the way you are. So for me, I am not used to taking breaks from my work, and I was forced to take a break by having that operation and being just generally unwell, and my recovery took quite a lot longer than I thought it was going to and that I planned, and that really threw me off. Like, I started to worry I was, not creating enough work, that I was going to fall behind. And when I did start creating work again, because I'd had a big gap, I just wasn't happy with what I was making, and I didn't feel like it was at the standard, and I just really started doubting myself more and more. And I think that's, like, pretty normal. I think everyone's had a stage where they're like this. Like, so I have spoken to a lot of friends that have finished uni, and sometimes right after 3rd year they kind of get this feeling like suddenly they're not being forced to create work, they have to do it because they want to, and because of that they felt like they've been hit by the creative block. Basically, they don't know what they're doing either. So your reason could be totally different. Your reason could be maybe you've just been overwhelmed, maybe you're just comparing yourself too much, maybe you're just not feeling like you're good enough. Like, there's so many things that can kind of trigger this mindset, but just realize what yours is. And I think one thing you can do is sit down, give yourself nothing else, no distractions, bit of paper, iPad or whatever, but no distractions. So you're just writing why you're feeling the way you are. So for me, it was, I didn't feel like my work was good enough. I felt like I was out of my swing of thing, out of my routine, and I just started doubting myself. So, Instagram. It can be exciting, it's great seeing everyone's work. The algorithm is a bit of a nightmare at the moment, but it is also a tricky place to be. So Instagram can be wonderful. It's great seeing what everyone's up to, it's great seeing everyone's work, and I do love it. I do think it's one of my favourite social medias, but it can also be really negative when you are comparing yourself to everybody. Not many people share the bad sides to their life or career on Instagram. It's just a fact. People want to share the positives. People want to share what they're doing well, and people want to share how things, like, they want to share the highlights. It's not everything. You don't share your every second on Instagram, you just share your highlights. Same with things like Facebook, etc. But I think it's really important to remember that. And when you are struggling and you're kind of comparing yourself too much to other people, I personally think it's a pretty good time to just step down for a little bit. Take whatever you need off. Take a few days off Instagram, off social media. Take a few weeks off. Like, I took a while off from posting, but what I did do is I added the odd Instagram story because I find it a lot less pressure, and I also really enjoy Instagram stories. But I did take a few steps away from actually scrolling through the feed, and I think that actually helped me becoming a little bit less you know, feeling like I was the worst one. I don't know. So step number 3, I can't speak. Yeah, so I actually can't say my, people make fun of me for saying the number 3 because I can't actually pronounce it very well. So step number, this number. So my 3rd step is to try something new. So this could be a multiple different things. I know a few people that have tried things like pottery or you know, learning a potter's wheel, crochet. It could be something that's totally not creative, or, you know, something different. It could be something like running. You could be like aiming to do like a 10k, a charity run or something, but basically concentrate on something other than your usual medium. Because I think one of the problems is that artwork, especially for me, illustration is fun. A lot of people consider it a hobby, and when it's your career, it's also, for me, is what I enjoy the most, and it's my job as well. So when you're in that kind of space, it's quite important to find something else you enjoy. So I've done 2 different things. The first is I've gotten back into reading. So I try to make sure I read a book every night, just before I go to bed, so I no longer spend my evening scrolling through social media. Instead, I spend it reading a book, totally not connected to my phone, and I actually sleep better by doing that, although I do read spooky books, but that's another story. And another thing I have done, and I'm aware that this sounds quite backwards, is I've taken on a part-time job teaching children, very young, like primary age children. And I've been teaching them art and design, so like a few hours a day. It doesn't take up time away from my illustration job, but it also gives me something else to focus on, and it gets me out of the house, which is so important, especially if you're a freelancer. Getting out of the house is so important. So I teach, we start the class by teaching drawing. So I do an observational drawing with the kids, which is really exciting because for me, it's like going back to basics. It's like, this is a curved line, this is a circle, this, and then, you know, you've got your artwork. And it's nice to kind of take it away from that mindset I would be in and really simplify it down. And I find that really helpful. And then I also teach like colour and painting and mixing, and it's so fun to see the kids' enjoyment for art and to get to know the kids and to take myself away from my normal space and be in that environment. And it is it was like quite a challenging thing for me to even think about doing, because I'm not a super confident person, but I find that I am coming out of myself and really enjoying working with children alongside my day job, and it just takes me out of that space, that mental state, and gets me out of the house for a few hours, chuck some paint around, teach children skills that I know, and that has been very helpful for me. But, you know, this could be anything at all. Just basically take yourself away from what you do and try something new. Yeah, you know, reading, running, crochet, pottery, trampolining, I don't know, climbing, it could be anything. But anything that you enjoy is learning a new skill, doing something you enjoy. Very helpful. Number 4 is to step outside in general. Get some fresh air, go on walks every day, do a little bit of exercise. It doesn't need to be a long run if that's not your thing. Just go on a walk, you know, 10 minutes, walk down to some fields, walk into some woods. If you live in a city, go to a park, get some fresh air, surround yourself by nature, and really take a step away from your space, both mentally and physically. And finally, number 5 is, I think, what helps me, especially at the beginning, quite a lot. So I sit at my desk and I give myself a piece of paper. Actually, I'll show you what I use. I don't always use a piece of paper. It can be as simple as using a piece of paper, but I use a page on I use a page on Procreate. So what I do is or did I use my notes app? I use either Procreate or Notes, it kind of depends. I think I use Notes. And I just came out with lots of ideas. You can't really see them. I don't know why I thought showing you the iPad would be a good idea. But I basically just got a page on my iPad, turned airplane mode on so I got no other notifications, and I set a timer using my Alexa stop. I set a timer using that, and I think I set it for 15 minutes. You could do 10 minutes, you could even do 5 minutes. You can always find that time in the day, so just find a moment that you have and just make a list of ideas and do this every day. So give yourself that let's say 10 minutes, because I feel like that's quite a nice time. Give yourself 10 minutes, shut yourself off from the world, and find a quiet space and just write ideas. So I'll read you some of mine. And they can be all over the place, and you're the only one that's ever going to see them, and it doesn't matter if they're ridiculous ideas, because, you know, you never have to use them. There's no pressure to use them, no one else has to see them. So I just wrote things like, I really enjoyed working on book covers, so it's something I want to focus on, but also I quite like drawing people in places, so I thought, I'm just going to read my list. I just said, draw some holiday photos in Falmouth, draw some still life items, draw some books, get book cover ideas from books you're reading, Polaroids, photos, could be a good idea, trains, city life, travelling, women travelling. So for me, it's just illustration ideas, and they don't make much sense. And honestly, I probably won't use all of them, but they don't always have to be writing. Like, I'm a very visual person, so I often draw really, really rough, tiny little thumbnails with my ideas. So it's great because there's no pressure, no one else has to see it. So I write, oh, you know, this could be a good idea, and I do a little sketch, and I may never have to use it again, or maybe it'll be a great idea to work on in the future. So when you're struggling to like really sit down and do great work, it can be nice just to give yourself that little bit of time to come up with ideas. And you never know, you might come up with some great ones, and ones you're very excited about. And this particularly has got me excited about doing my work. And there's some, like, I always know something I'm going to do next now, so I have this long list of ideas. So when I finish something, there's never that in-between period, or if I'm doing like client work and I'm in the middle, or I kind of come back and I'm like, I really want to get on with something, there's never like, oh, what do I do today? Like, I have a long list of things to get on with, which is very important, I think. But that is all, I think. I hope I did 5. A few bonus ones to chuck in there. If you have pets, pet your pets. Spending time with my cat and my dog are wonderful things, and I think stroking them and seeing how happy they are with little things is very exciting. Go to bed earlier, get more sleep, the normal. I feel like everybody knows these things, but all of that stuff can just help you, and it's all about realising that it's only ever temporary. Feeling like you just can't create work or you're not happy with your work is a temporary mindset, and you can always break out of it. And these are my 5 tips, but I'm sure you have many other ideas. So if you have anything that's helped you, I'd love, can't speak, yeah, my throat is all over the place. If you have anything that really helped you get out of a creative block, please pop that in the comments. Thank you so much for watching my 5 tips for getting out of a creative block. I thought this would be a fun little video to get me back into the swing of YouTube, because it is actually very relevant to me right now, and I wasn't really sure where to start. So I'm now gonna, not now, but I'm gonna do an update video in the next week for anyone that's interested, because life has been quite exciting for me over the last few months, and despite me not like creating as much, especially on YouTube, I have been creating work but not been sharing it as much, and you know, I've not been on here presently. I think it would be quite nice to share, even just for my record to look back on, because I have had a very exciting few months and don't know what else to say. Thank you so much for watching this little video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps if you are also struggling with that kind of thing. Thanks so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and please consider subscribing. It does make me so happy, and I'm very excited to be getting back into the YouTube swing. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.